Back with Frankie, Corrado. The highlights of Jacob Trouba. Frankie looked like a throwback to the days of the old Rock'em Sock'em video. So, Game 3 against the Panthers. The on-ice officials didn't think Trouba's elbow was that bad, so they reduced it from a 5-minute major down to a 2-minute minor. But the league said, nope, not good enough, and they fined him the max $5,000. Where do you land on the decision?
I think it's an appropriate punishment by the league. You know, I wouldn't be giving out a one-game suspension for that in the playoffs. And like we've seen a lot of healthy debate on this hit. Is it a flying elbow? Is it a chicken wing? Did he catch him in the head first? Did he catch him in the shoulder first? Like, if we're really trying to split this up and dissect it that minutely, then maybe we're probably okay with the $5,000 fine. And the officials have a look at it. Like, we have to kind of trust their judgment when they're in the game, when they're looking at it on the iPad. Like, we're at the point now in the season where the best officials in the league are working these games. So they must see something that would lead them to believe that it's not going to be a 5-minute major, that it is going to be a 2-minute minor. So with all that being said, I have to believe that this was handled appropriately, and the $5,000 fine for Jacob Trouba is an appropriate punishment for what he did.
Trouba's looked like a man possessed in these playoffs, Frankie. Everyone, especially opponents, have to know when he's on the ice or they could be in for a world of hurt. Is he the scariest everyday player in the league today?
I'm going to say no, Gino. He's one of the scariest everyday players in the league today. And make no mistake about it, if you're cutting through the middle of the ice with your head down, Jacob Trouba will find you and he will finish that hit. And he looks for it more than other players do. It's a little bit of a throwback situation. And just based on the sheer volume of attempts that Jacob Trouba tries to make these hits, of course, there's going to be instances where he crosses the line. But I think of another player that we've been talking about in years past in these situations, and that's Tom Wilson. Like, Tom Wilson, also one of the most feared players in the NHL. We're not talking about him right now because we're talking about Jacob Trouba because he's in the news. And then there's other players like Curtis McDermott is a guy who maybe doesn't play every single game, but when he's in the game, he's a very intimidating presence. He's one of the toughest players in the league. So, you know, Jacob Trouba is in that handful conversation of players that are really intimidating, that you don't want to let your guard down in front of on the ice, but there still are a few guys in that same conversation.
There's still plenty of danger out there in the NHL, and the fans are loving it. By the way, the Rangers had been the underdog since the puck dropped in this series, but not anymore. They now have a 2-1 series lead, and FanDuel's got them at -164 to reach the Stanley Cup final.